Yes, I did. I found love in Cambodia, and I fell hard. Right? I'm not of retirement age, so how can I do that? How can I possibly retire in Cambodia, right?
Yeah.
So I went to a visa office and they said, I can do it. Oh, what's their cost of living?
Yeah, what's their cost of living?
Anywhere from, I have a friend, he's $500 US. He has an apartment in Siem Reap for $100,
Wow.
but he's a solo expat, right? And yeah, so that runs from 500.
Right.
And I have expat friends here that go to about $4,000 per month.
Okay.
So they live in the fancy neighborhood.
That's quite a range. So this is Dan of Vagabond Awake, and today I'm lucky to have Steve here on the channel. Welcome to the channel, Steve.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much for coming.
So Steve, where are you from in the world, and where are we sitting right now?
I'm from Toronto, Canada. Well, just outside, there's a suburb called Mississauga, and we are in Phnom Penh, Cambodia.
Wow. How did you pick living here?
Well, in 2022, I went on a Southeast Asia tour, and I went to Thailand because my friend there's an expat. So I traveled through Thailand for about 4 months, and then after that, I came to Cambodia. I came to Cambodia for a visa run, right? That's typically what people do.
Yeah, sure.
So I came here for a visa run. I stayed in Cambodia for 5 days, 3 days in Siem Reap, 2 days in Phnom Penh. And then I went back to Thailand and extended my visa there, and then came back home to work in Canada. And while I was in Canada, I was just reflecting on my time, right? I was reflecting on my time in Cambodia, and I said, I didn't spend enough time there, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I gotta go back. So the first time I went to Cambodia was January 2023, and I said, I gotta go for a longer term of time, right?
Right.
So I said, how can I do that? Right? I'm not of retirement age, so how can I do that? How can I possibly retire in Cambodia, right?
Yeah.
So I went to a visa office and they said, I can do it. All I had to do was go and get at the airport, you just get an EB visa, which is a business visa. And after that, you get 30 days. Then you go to a visa office and get a 6-month extension, okay? After that 6-month extension, you go back and you can get a 12-month extension business visa with a work permit. Because I'm not retired, I needed that extra work permit piece with it, okay?
Okay.
After you get that, you can stay for 1 year at a time and just keep renewing for 1 year at a time and stay here. That's how you're able to retire in Cambodia if you're not of retirement age.
Right. And so does that mean you found work here, or how are you doing the work part of that for the permit?
So for the permit, I use my YouTube channel as work.
Right.
So they did ask, and they will ask you, what's your work? What's your business here in Cambodia? And I showed them my YouTube channel. They will give that to the authorities, and I went from there. I got approved. I was very happy to share the world with Cambodia with the world, and that's what I did.
That's great.
Yes.
And did they want you to prove what your income was from your channel, or other paperwork?
None of that. So not like my friend from Thailand, my expat friend from Thailand, he did have to prove income and a lot more stuff, because again, he's not of retirement age, but he is an expat living there for many, many years. Here in Cambodia, you do not have to have proof of income.
That's great. And so what are the work permit and the visa per year? What does that run you?
So the visa permit costs $315 per year.
Right.
And the work permit costs $155 per year. You're gonna pay the $315 plus the $155 for the work permit. So every year.
That's great.
Yes.
Now, so you found love here, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I found love in Cambodia, and I fell hard.
Oh, that's great. And so did you meet online, or how did that happen?
So when I came back from Thailand, and like I said, I was reminiscing about my 5 days in Cambodia, I started researching on how to retire there. Because when I came here, I experienced the cost of living was really, really low. And also I love the people and the culture. But I said to myself, okay, I started joining groups. I started researching Facebook groups about Cambodia, living there. I started such as yourselves probably, looking at YouTube channels such as Dan's channel, right? And I said to myself, okay, I'm just gonna keep searching and searching. And what happened was I encountered a lady online and we were in the same group chat, right? So it's just a group chat, chatting about random things about Cambodia. And I said to her, you know what? This is really interesting what you said. And then I must have mentioned, you know what? You have a very beautiful smile. And it went from there. I'm here in Cambodia. She's 8 months pregnant. We're gonna be together 2 years in July. It will be our 2-year anniversary.
That's amazing. So I want to ask you about cost of living, but first, what's the name of your channel and what do you like to talk about on your channel to help people, or what is it about?
So the name of my channel is Steve Expat Living in Cambodia. So Steve Expat Living in Cambodia is the name of my YouTube channel, and I like to talk about everything Cambodia in terms of living here, in terms of how to live here, in terms of my experience here, in terms of how I experience safety, cost of living, how I experience the people, how are the neighbors, what to expect when you first come here. I like to talk about visa in terms of if you're not retired, but you want to really retire here, is that possible? I like to explore those type of topics. I also like to explore different restaurants, such as what are some of the best sky bars in Phnom Penh, right? Or what are some of the best events you should go to, such as Khmer New Year, right? Or water festivals, and things like that. So I like to share with people basically everything Cambodia, but with the backdrop of living here, expats living in Cambodia. So I can maybe inspire people to take that plunge, because a lot of people, even in the comments, you'll see it in the comments, you know what, I'm close to pulling the trigger, but I'm quite not there yet, because they have a question in their mind they haven't answered, or a concern such as health insurance or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to be able to provide answers to them. And I've met my subscribers. They've lived in the condo in Siem Reap. They've actually come, pulled the trigger, moved to Siem Reap, lived in the same condo I lived in, swam in the same swimming pool, and it was just amazing to see that.
That is amazing.
And I just went from there. I started with just vlogging myself and things like that, and I'm just here to help people answer questions that I had.
So that's great. Now, we're sitting in your apartment. It's a big place.
Yes.
What does it rent for per month? What's your rent?
So I rent for $400 USD. They were asking $450. Some of the units go for $350, depending if how furnished they are. Some of them are partially furnished, some are bare, and some are fully furnished. So depending on what you're looking for in terms of furniture, I pay for $350. I pay $400 per month, but they were asking for $450.
That's great. And how many bedrooms and baths is it? And again, we'll show it, but
sure,
just give them a little taste.
So this is a 4-bedroom, 5-bathroom house. Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
It's amazing.
Yes.
And the bedrooms are quite large.
So what are your other things, like utilities, gas? What are your electricity? What's that stuff run per month?
So my electricity runs me about $90 to $94 per month. My water runs me about $14 per month. Sometimes it's $8. But I have a lot of friends that like to visit me, and a lot of, say, for example, if there's a New Year's party and things like that, and people are sleeping over, it's a lot of showering, right?
A lot of showering.
So yes, the costs do go up. So around $8 to $14 for the water. The internet's $25 per month.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, those are basically my fixed costs.
Okay. And
yes.
What do you pay for groceries per month?
Groceries run me anywhere from $500 to $1,000. Remember, if I were alone, it'd be much less. Okay,
right.
But if I'm throwing like a birthday party, it's gonna run me $1,000 that month. But typically, it's about $500 per month,
okay.
And that's for myself, my wife,
right.
And my cousin, who decided to.
So 3 of you live in
here.
this 4-bedroom house.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. So what just all in, to get another reference point, what do you spend per month, would you say, on average for everything?
So the least I'll spend
Yeah.
in 1 month is $1,800 per month.
Okay.
And that's living a really nice lifestyle, going out.
Okay.
As you can see on my YouTube channel, I go out and I love sky bars, I love restaurants, I
Yeah.
love to eat,
Yeah.
you could tell. And so yes, it really depends on the month and things like that. If I go, for example, to Korong, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna run me more. Right,
Right.
my expenses will run me more.
Okay.
So $18 would be
$1,800.
$1,800 would be the floor. Okay, and if I'm going to Korong or doing a trip around Cambodia or something, it can run me up to $3,000.
In terms of US dollars, what would it cost to live this lifestyle in the US?
So a place like this would be in Toronto, Canada. This place would be about $4,000. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly,
And
$4,000.
what about the restaurants, the sky bars, the parties,
The parties, the traveling, and things like that would run you up. I would say about $10,000 per month.
Right.
Yes.
And you're doing it for somewhere between 1,800 and 3, depending
Exactly,
on how much.
1,800. Most of the time, it's 1,800.
Okay.
Right. But if I were to average it out through the month, it's around 22 kind of thing.
Now
Yeah.
you're very charismatic. It's probably likely that you meet a lot of expats along the way.
I do.
And so what would you say the range is in Cambodia, maybe on the low end, kind of a range from low to high of what expats, if you know, what expats you meet spend to live here?
Usually when I meet expats, the range is from 50 to about 75 when I meet them.
Oh, you mean the age?
Like the age if I
No.
meed expats.
Oh, no, I mean, what's their cost of living?
Oh, what's their cost of living?
Yeah, what's their cost of living?
Anywhere from, I have a friend, he $500 US. He has an apartment in Siem Reap for $100,
Wow.
but he's a solo expat, right? And yeah, so that runs from 500.
Right.
And I have expat friends here that go to about $4,000 per month.
Okay.
So they live in the fancy neighborhood.
That's quite a range.
Yes.
So it presents an opportunity for people of all shapes and sizes.
Absolutely.
And income. Yeah, that's
Absolutely,
amazing.
you're right.
So, so you mentioned you like to go out to eat, you like to travel. What are some of the other fun things you like to do in town here? Like, they have malls, I presume. I mean, I
Yes.
know actually, but
Yes, they have like Aeon malls. They have 2, Aeon Mall 1, 2.
theaters,
Theaters.
nightclubs.
A lot of nightclubs,
Yeah.
tons of bars, tons of restaurants. It's unlimited sky bars. And it's just so much that I could spend 5 years here and not even reach half of the restaurants.
So, when you're wandering about at night or day or whatever, do you feel safe here?
I do. I feel personally safe. In my opinion, Cambodia is safe for expats.
If you like my free ebook about how I fired my boss and traveled the world for 17 years and how I pay for things, come to Vagabond Buddha and grab the free ebook.
I've never had any issues or anything like that. But of course, I do take steps to limit my risk, okay? And I do travel a lot of the times, as you'll see, in groups and things like that. So I'm usually 90% of the time never solo,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So, but I do feel safe. I have great neighbors. Everyone watches out for themselves. When I'm out in the streets, I do feel safe. Everyone's extremely friendly. They're willing to lend a helping hand anytime, even if you leave your phone. I've had that happen many times where I just leave my phone. They'll say, sir, your phone is here, okay?
Yeah.
But yes, that's what I do. It's more or less the traffic. That's what I usually more alert about, the traffic. So if you're crossing a very busy road and things like that, just be alert of the very fast traffic. That's what I always advise people.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's some crazy driving here, isn't there?
Absolutely, and you'll hear about it every day in the groups. There's people that there's a lot of fatal accidents, especially motorbike accidents that do happen, and you'll hear a lot about it in the news.
So, do you have local health insurance here?
I don't have local health insurance, but I use Safety Wing.
Okay.
Okay, and that runs me about $57 US per month, and that allows me to travel either here or to Thailand or anywhere else,
Okay.
and also to my home country.
Okay.
Okay, and that's what I use. and they're really, really good. They have online support. They have an app. So if you're ever into any trouble or anything like that, they can link it. If it's a serious accident, you can ask them for direct billing with the hospital, which I already talked to. So what I give advice for people is when you come to Cambodia to live, it's good to go to a hospital and let them know, hey, do you take this insurance? For example, Cigna or Safety Wing and things like that, and what would happen and this and that. And if they say yes, just so you know, hey, I can go to this hospital if something serious happens, and they can do direct billing and business with
That's
us.
smart. That's
Yes.
smart. And so, what have you had any experience with the hospitals here?
I have.
How do you feel the healthcare is? You and/or other expats, what's the overall feel about it?
So I've had minor issues,
Okay.
usually like, for example, a bacterial infection, because
Okay.
I love to eat.
Okay.
And so I'll have a minor bacterial infection. I'll go to the walk-in, for example, they'll take my blood. They'll have it ready for me by the end of the day, usually. In Siem Reap, it's about $55. Here in Phnom Penh, it's about $25. Okay, you just take your blood. They'll have the results for you at the end of the day, and then they'll provide you the medication. Yes, and it's relatively cheap compared to other parts of the world.
That's great. That's
yes.
great.
But it's been a positive experience for the healthcare.
So, what do you do? Do you still maintain your bank in Canada?
I do.
You do. And what do you do about when you're doing your two-factor authentication? Do you use, how do you set that up? So when you try to log onto your bank, you have access.
Yeah, that's a great question. So what I do is I have a virtual private network.
Okay.
That's a must.
A VPN.
A VPN.
Okay.
You should have that, especially when you're doing transactions and banking.
Okay.
After I got my second business extension, you're eligible to open up an account here in Cambodia. I open up an ABA account. Through there, you could transfer money by wire to your account in Canada to ABA Bank, okay? Or if, for example, you're not quite there yet, you don't have a bank here in Cambodia, you could use Western Union. There's other applications as well.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, what I would do is I would just use my bank, say credit card or debit card, pull money out through Western Union,
Okay.
which is very safe.
Okay.
I find them safe, and you have immediate access to your money. Now, when I started, living here and open an ABA account, I don't need like immediate access to money, so I can wait for that wire to take. It takes 3 business to 5 business days to come through.
And how do you log on to your Canada bank? Are you using two-factor authentication?
Yes. So what I do is I just have I just go on my phone and I'll pull up my app here. I'll just show you guys here. So I have all my accounts here like this. Those are all my banks. So I have I just click on the app and I transfer money. I use two-factor authentication through my face and through my Google email.
And that's dependent on your bank. So your local bank in your home country, in my case, America, you have to talk to your bank or read online how to do your two-factor authentication. So
Okay.
And think about that while you're in your home country and set it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's harder to do it once you're left. So that's an example of something people need to do. How do you get your mail from Canada? Your snail mail, if you get any.
So snail mail, I just have a PO box in Canada.
Okay.
Right? And usually I just tell people or companies to email it to me.
Okay.
So 99% of my mail is emailed.
Smart.
If it has to be mailed out, I do have a PO box.
Uh-huh.
And then I can just get a family member who have the keys to open it up and just take pictures of the mail and send them to me if there is mail. Usually there's not mail.
Right.
I probably get mail usually twice, I'd say, a year.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Because
fine.
I set it up in a way that, hey guys, I'm not going to be in Canada, so you need to send me mail via email.
And banks often call that green mail.
Yes.
So they send it to you in email instead of printing it on paper and mailing it to you.
Correct.
In the U.S. is a little different. The Homeland Security won't allow you to use a PO box for your residence address, so you'll have to use one of these virtual mail houses.
Sure.
We used to be allowed to use P.O. boxes when I first left the U.S. 18 years ago, but that's not allowed since that whole 9/11 fiasco.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that's different between
Yes, of
Canada
course,
and the U.S.
of
So
course.
any other thoughts? Like, what else would you like to have known? What else comes to mind before you left? If you're, does anything that you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, the first thing I would have contacted my bank personally, like when I was in Canada, and set things up and set security measures up, such as yourself, the two-factor authentication. Because one of the problems I did have is when I would use my credit card or debit card for large transactions, they would usually be held. And now you have to call back home, and then maybe you don't have enough international minutes, so you got to go get some minutes, and it can get quite expensive being on hold for 40 minutes or 30 minutes with the bank, and then the call drops, for example, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good idea to set up at the bank and let them know, listen, I'm living in Cambodia, please don't block my account. Even if you say that, it does happen once or twice a year with me, and I just give them a quick call and they just set it up.
Right.
Another thing, I would have pulled the trigger a lot earlier. I would have retired here a lot earlier, honestly. I just, this is such a beautiful country, such beautiful people. The cost of living is low. It gives you this peace of mind, because that's the first thing I had when I moved here. It was the peace of mind. And after I sold all my property back home, that's when it just sunk in. I said, I have nothing back home in terms of property, and now I'm here, I'm settled, I'm ready to build a life here and a family here in Cambodia. Very, very excited, very peace of mind, and you just have to pull that trigger, honestly. I would have came earlier.
That's great. Now, there are some differences between the U.S. and Canada, so at the end of this video, you can get the free ebook, the 10 main things that U.S. citizens need to think about when they move overseas. But all of your advice is very good. Hey, thanks for watching my video. If you'd like to visit Steve's channel, it'll be the first link in the notes below this YouTube video. If you'd like to see over 140 videos, people I've interviewed all over the world that have retired outside their home country, watch the video playlist right here. And if you want that free ebook that'll tell you how I set up my life, banking, phones, snail mail, and how I make money online, grab the free ebook. You'll see a little box somewhere on the screen. Grab my free ebook, and I'll see you in the next video.